Tonight I have a head-to-head of Amrut Indian single malt whiskey and the cask strength version of the same, so this will be a good one. Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary, where I do the research to try to teach you a little something about what you're drinking. And tonight's research is really good research because it's not just reading and studying and teaching. Tonight's research is drinking, and I'm very, very good at that. So tonight we're going to be talking about Amrut Indian single malt whiskey, and we're going to be talking about the cask strength version of that. So let's talk a little bit about some of the metrics around these whiskeys. This guy right here, the regular, is about $47 in my area. This is 46% ABV. It's non-chill filtered, aged about 4 years, and in general, very, very good. I liked it a lot. I reviewed it last week. This is the cask strength. It's all of the same stuff. It's $69 in my area, and it's 61.8% ABV. So super duper high, and should make for a good drink. Now here's the difference. They're about $20 between the two. So what I want you to know is whether it's worth your money to upgrade to the cask strength. For the most part, cask strength is usually better, right? Or at least more fun to play around with because you can add a little bit more water. You can kind of make it what you want. Holds up in cocktails a little bit better. In general, cask strength has a lot of advantages. But when you take on something that was, Jim Murray's big deal a few years ago, third best whiskey in the world and really put Indian whiskey on the map, cask strength should be better, but this one's going to be hard to beat. Now here's the kicker. Between these two, the regular non-cask strength got a 94.5 versus the cask strength, which got a 94 in Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible. So I almost feel like that's really just like kind of a kick, kick to the knee or whatever you want to say. Like it was really just rubbing it in, like, you're not quite as good as the other one. So let's see if we agree tonight. Now, I have my regular sitting over here. I've got the one of those glass toppers that I sell. Now, quick aside here, these are one of the coolest things that I think I've ever put out here. Other than what I really like the Whiskey Dictionary, but these things are really neat. They fit on super snug. They should be back in stock by now. If they're not, they will be very, very soon. So check out the whiskey-dictionary.com if you're interested. Really, really couldn't recommend them enough. And I think the other people that have bought them, which are about 50 people so far, would all agree. They've told me many good things about it. So let's get back into the meat of this. So this is the cask strength. I'm going to pour this out. We're going to talk a little bit about it, and then I'm going to do kind of a side-by-side and let you know what I think. So as I said, 61.8, so the taste here is gonna potentially burn a bit. So let's see. Now, taste still has yet to come, but as far as the nose goes, there is surprisingly very, very little burn on this. I mean, you don't want to inhale too deep because it's there, but it's pretty nice. This is as far as nose goes, let's just kind of talk about what we're smelling here. For the most part, you are smelling a cask strength whiskey. It's very potent. It's in this case, it's vanilla. It's cinnamon. It's honey. It's lemon. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like a lemony tea, actually. So let's go ahead and try a taste. Cheers. Ooh, that has a nice kick to it. Not gonna lie, that tastes pretty good. And actually, there's a weird little tobacco-y flavor right in the middle. And actually, a weird thing that I'm not sure I like so much, that might have actually been a big nail in the coffin there, is almost like the bottom of a glass of beer, warm beer. That's strange. I didn't taste that before. Obviously, I've drank a bit of this. I hadn't tasted that yet. I don't know. I love that. Let's see. All right, let's see what else we're tasting here. The trick with tasting cask strength, never trust your first drink because it's always a shock to the mouth. All right. So that tobacco flavor is sticking around. That kind of bottom of the beer thing is really sticking for me. That's strange. How is this the first time I'm tasting that? That's very weird. Aside from that, you're getting a lot of the same notes that you're getting over here, which if you remember from my video last week, there's cocoa, there's cinnamon, there's kind of a honey flavor in there. Although in this case, it really does, like, this is interesting. So for those of you that are patrons, you would have seen this in my first taste of this, but I remember comparing the taste here to if you were to melt honey in a thing of tea and then finish off the tea, and now at the bottom is like some unmelted honey. And you know, if you were to eat that, it's like kind of almost stained with tea. It's got like a deep, rich kind of flavor to it, but it's still very honey. That's some of the taste that you're getting in here, mixed along with some of that tobacco. Over time, I'm gonna try one more taste because I can't believe that beer thing. That's so weird. Okay, so I'm not getting it now, and I'm wondering if it just needed to sit on my palate for a little bit. But anybody here who has this bottle, if you happen to buy it or something, tell me what you think. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about there? Like, is that coming across to you? Because that's a weird one. Anyway, all right, cool. So let's get into this. I've tasted this. Generally, I already think I've made up my mind. I'm trying to remain, somewhat undecided here, but I think that's going to be a tough one. All right, let me grab a little bit of water real quick. Even if it's mostly kind of unnecessary or not doing a whole lot, I like to try to have water in between tastings. It does do something. It's hard to compete with cask strength. It's very much going to hang around on your tongue. All right, let's go ahead and have a nose of this as well. There's something to being able to inhale deeply while nosing a whiskey. And cask strength doesn't always let you do that. I suppose you could always move your face further away, but I like my nose in a glass. The nose on them is pretty similar. This one's obviously a little harsher, just ABV-wise. But I would say the noses are actually very comparable. Yeah, I would say the noses are very similar. This one has a little bit more to it in the way of nosing notes, and I'll just put those on the screen only because I went over these last week. But the notes on here are very similar, but more well defined than in the cask strength. So interesting. I would say the cask strength is a little bit more muted. All right, so let's take a sip. Cheers. Again, a very good whiskey, like a really good whiskey. It's gonna be hard to beat. I'm actually starting to feel, I'm not Jim Murray. I'm not a professional whiskey taster, but I'm surprised that these two are only off by 0.5 of a point. And I'm curious what was being, I wish I could understand what somebody like Jim Murray's criteria in his mind was. And what distinguishes a 0.5 in difference of points, because that's very strange to me. All right, let's go ahead and just kind of, I shouldn't have put the top on. Let's do a little sip side by side here. So we'll do the regular one more time. Okay, super easy to drink, really nice. Very classic kind of tastes like Indian barley that I remember from the couple of other whiskeys I've done. That flavor it sticks out to you and you remember it. Very good. All right, let's try the cask strength. A richer, fuller version of that. The cask strength taste, this is where it kind of shines. It's not harsh whatsoever. It's got almost a dangerous drinkability to it. I could drink this and really drink way too much of this way too fast. So anybody on my live stream, don't bring this one up because I have a tendency to do that. I like the taste of this one a lot, actually. It's kind of like growing on me, The nose is hard to get past. The taste of this is very good, but I think I've got to give it to the regular. I got to agree. I would put it more than a 0.5 away, but I agree that the just regular Indian single malt whiskey is probably better. It would be much more worth the money, especially if you consider the fact that they are $20 apart. If these were like $5 apart, I'd say buy them both, do your own experiment. In this case, if you are interested in just trying it, it's totally worth your money still. It's still good. But if you had to pick one or the other, this one, 9 times out of 10. And that 10th time is when you've drank too much and you're making the wrong choice. So anyway, I hope this was interesting. This is a little bit different than what I normally do, but I kind of wanted to do that because it was fun. And why not have fun, right? So thank you guys all for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary. If you did miss last week's episode, check it out up there, or I'll put up a thing here. And, go check out the Patreon, check out the whiskey-dictionary.com, and have a great rest of your night. And I get to look forward to drinking both of these. So, yay for me. Have a great rest of your night, and cheers.